And I would like to introduce to my left Nina Graeff, is an anthropologist and a musicologist. She had done the opposite journey of Fichte, is Brazilian and have researched the Candomblé practice from the mimesis. It's no written instruction how to learn the Candomblé. So Nina will introduce how you learn it through body, language, and embodied knowledge. And I would like also to say hello to Mura Soares from the Forum Brazil, the House of Candomblé that Nina will introduce, that is with us. Bravo. And I hope we all participate afterwards in the conversation. Nina will introduce her research and a short video on this house and tell us on the mimesis until the specific practice of trance. Amilcar will continue. He's the curator together, as I said, with Max Jorge Hinderer Cruz of the project in Brazil, and many of the works are also here in the exhibition. Then we will follow with Ayrson Heráclito. He's member and practitioner of Candomblé, artist, professor, curator, and he will also invite us to see these divisions and to discuss the divisions between what is modern or contemporary art and the ritualistic practices of Candomblé. Many of the discussions that these books of Fichte trigger had allowed us to reconstruct these power structures, the divisions, in order to try also to blur them and to challenge them and to somehow have all together in different ways a transformative experience. And finally, I'm also very happy to know in these last days, Tiona is an artist and curator. She has 2 works in the exhibition, 2 video pieces that you see at the end of the space. And she will talk today about other piece that is not in the exhibition. I was praying to the wrong God, right? That she presented recently in United States, and also is an opportunity also to discuss how Tiona is dealing with the divisions between her practice as an artist and initiated in Santeria in Cuba in this case. So I welcome Nina and all the panel, Ayrson, Tiona, and Amilcar.
Thank you, Paz, for the introduction, and especially for the invitation of being here, and for giving me a voice for being here, which I will use. Ia o mini bum dorixá orerê. Ia o mini bum do miro orixá orerê. Ia o mini bum do miro orixá orerê. I sang this song to offer you and to resonate with you through a bodily experience coming from Candomblé. My voice has reached your ears, has touched your skin, vibrated with your skin, and my face has revealed the sincerity of my offering to your eyes. You don't know the literal meanings of this song, and neither do I. You don't know what it represents, but you might guess how meaningful it is to me. No literal translation can reveal this meaning. The secret behind this song is not contained in its representations, but in the experiences that I and many others share together within Candomblé. Our sacred secret is hidden in our bodies and in the rituals that collectively reenact a part of this secret by means of songs, dances, food, offerings, flowers and herbs, among many others. African slaves could not bring I will read my text. African slaves could not bring to Brazil any material goods with them, but only the experience, knowledge, and wisdom carried in their bodies. These cannot be taken away. They cannot be stolen, erased, destroyed, not even after death, because it is a wisdom collectively shared. Today I want to present to you how Candomblé works not as a mere practice of political resistance, but as a spiritual path that, by reconnecting individual selves to the world, empowers people from different backgrounds, much beyond linguistic, cultural, and political categories. Similar to Hubert Fichte, for my PhD research, I turned my own body into a source, a privileged source of investigation and creation, not by dissecting it or classifying somatic stimuli as an object, but by discovering, unveiling it as a subject, which is the material ground of my existence, of our existence. Practicing Candomblé as members do would provide me with insight into their subjectivities and processes of bodily learning, as opposed to intellectual learning through books and other media. As an anthropologist of music, at the beginning I thought that I would learn Candomblé songs and dances, that I would memorize lyrics, melodies, gestures, and footsteps. However, the apprenticeship embraced much more than acquiring specific mechanical techniques. Mimetic learning, or learning through imitation, is mostly an unconscious undertaking that strives to the appropriation of the other and transformation through the other and the world. So I did not only learn techniques, but I embodied the experiences, meanings, and values that such techniques reenact. My apprenticeship, which should have lasted only 6 months of fieldwork, has lasted 6 years so far. I have embodied the tradition and became a member of the Soul Temple for the Practice of Candomblé in Germany, Ileobasileké, located here in Kreuzberg, inside the Intercultural Center Forum Brazil. As Hubert Fichte has traveled from Germany to Brazil, integrating himself as an outsider into Candomblé, so has Candomblé traveled to Germany in 2008 officially, integrating its rituals into a highly contrasting geography and culture. Let me present to you the Candomblé Haus here in Berlin through a video made by channel ZDF in the occasion of the World Cup of 2014.
Wir sind beim Forum Brasil, das einen umfassenden Einblick in die Traditionen des brasilianischen Nordostens gewährt. Ein sehr wichtiger Teil der Kultur Bahias ist der Candomblé. Diese Religion verbindet die Kultur und den Glauben vieler afrikanischer Stämme, die als Sklaven nach Brasilien kamen. Der Candomblé gehört bis heute zum Alltag in Bahia.
Aus Afrika stammt die Religion der Orisha. Orisha ist ein Gott, eine Kraft der Natur. Und jede Gegend gehört zu einem anderen Orisha. Oyo zu Shango, Alada zu Oshun. Und als Afrikaner als Sklaven nach Brasilien kamen, die in Sklavenvierteln lebten, gab es diese regionalen Trennungen nicht mehr. Sie mussten die Kräfte, die Weisheit aller Götter vereinen, um die religiösen Riten an einem Ort auszuüben. Und so entstand der Candomblé.
Mura ist ein Babalorisha, ein spiritueller Führer. Für die Gemeinschaft befragt er das Orakel und verteilt die Aufgaben, die ihm von den Orishas aufgetragen werden. Er kennt die Pflanzen und ihre Kräfte genau. Er lebt in Berlin, denn inzwischen gibt es auch hier Menschen, die sich dem Candomblé angeschlossen haben und gemeinsam seine Rituale praktizieren. Die Glaubensgemeinschaft versteht sich als Familie, in der jeder seine Rolle und seine Verantwortung hat.
Jeder kann dem Candomblé beitreten. Aber er ist eine sehr differenzierte Religion. Die Hierarchie ist komplex und Disziplin ist im Candomblé sehr wichtig. Der Respekt vor dem Orisha und vor den Menschen ist sehr stark ausgeprägt. Manche verstehen das falsch, da es im Candomblé viele Farben, Tanz, Musik und Essen gibt. Und viele glauben, dass es nur eine große Party ist. Aber es ist nicht nur eine Party, es ist eine Religion. Wenn Sie dann das wirkliche Candomblé kennenlernen, die Schwierigkeiten, es im Alltag zu leben, dann distanzieren sich die Menschen wieder.
Das Wichtigste beim Candomblé ist die Verbundenheit mit der Natur. Viele Riten beziehen die Natur direkt mit ein. Wie kann eine solche Religion in einem Land wie Deutschland überhaupt praktiziert werden, wo Klima und Flora hier doch ganz anders sind?
Deutschland ist ganz anders. Es ist kein tropisches Land, hat nichts mit Afrika zu tun und auch nichts mit Brasilien. Deswegen gibt es vieles, das wir anders machen müssen. Oder wie man auf Deutsch sagt, wir müssen uns anpassen. Vor allem an die Kälte. Candomblé stammt aus einem tropischen Land. Und was brauchen wir? Wir brauchen Blätter, um daraus die Bäder, die Medikamente, die Tees und das Essen zu machen. Also müssen wir unsere Pflanzen in Töpfe setzen und uns mehr als in Brasilien um sie kümmern. Dort werfen wir die Samen in die Erde und sie wachsen von alleine.
So, Mugara, who's present with us here, just explained to us that the Orishas are forces of nature. In Bahia, Orishas are everywhere. Iemanjá does not only represent, she is the force of the sea. Oxóssi is the hunter, god of the woods and the fauna. Osan is the force of flora, of herbs and the curve through sacred herbs. Yansan is the force of the wind and storm. Each Orisha is assigned with a color, favorite food, and specific herbs from their habitats, favorite rhythms and dance steps. And if Orishas are forces of nature, so are they forces within us as part of nature. Each person is assigned with one Orisha since birth, carrying its personality traits. Oxóssi's people are reserved and strategic like hunters. Yansas are unpredictable and temperamental as the wind and storm. Iemanjás are overwhelmingly sensitive as the sea. So, if in Bahia Orishas are omnipresent, what happens in Germany? The Orishas hibernate. Well, they might not hibernate, but they are certainly not as intensively perceptible as in tropical countries. Nevertheless, at Ilhéu Basileké, people from different cultures and even beliefs can sense and learn to sense the force of the Orishas more intensively at rituals. Joaquim La Habana, the Santeria priest wearing yellow in the picture, as well as German Catholics or Protestants and even Israeli Jews, all of them come together to feel and praise the energy of the Orishas. There, everyone, except for the elders, are barefoot, in order to be literally in touch with the energy of the Orishas arising from earth. German sociologist Hartmut Rosa argues that in modern society we build more and more disengaged relationships to the world and consequently to others and to ourselves. He gives the example of touch and skin, our first and immediate interface with the world. Being barefoot connects us directly with the earth, whereas by means of shoes we create a highly effective buffering distance to flesh and world, which enables us to shift from a participatory to an objective and objectifying world relationship. So we get used to feel our feet and body as set apart from the world, disconnecting more and more from them, from our own body. I come to perceive the world and my body as mute objects, as foreigners, as enemies that threaten me. But the world did not become mute. I have lost what Rosa calls the vibrating wire that enables resonance, a vibrating wire that enables a resonant way of being in the world. So I was the one who could not listen nor hear the world, nor myself, until Candomblé shifted my perception, or more specifically, Oxum. The goddess of rivers and waterfalls, of sweet water and sweetness, of richness and gold, the reason of her yellow color, the goddess of sensibility and art, Oxum is the Orisha of love and of beauty. Now it became obvious who is my Orisha. Well, but it was not obvious to me. The relationship to the Orishas, to spirituality, as well as to others, to nature, and to oneself, requires much exercise, an exercise of the body. The practice of Candomblé is not simply an activity accomplished in a few hours a week, but is an intense bodily experience of constant transformation. Within a Candomblé house, members learn to establish and cultivate a relationship to the Orishas that engages all the senses. One greets the Orisha with the whole body on the floor. One cleanses the ambient through fumigation, showers oneself with sacred herbs, cooks for the Orishas, speaks out loud with them, drums, sings, and dances for the gods. Candomblé is a mirror of life. Everyday tasks are ritualized, and life is mirrored by the rituals. As explained in the video, the Candomblé community is experienced as a family, in which each person has its own role and responsibility, taking care of each other. More than that, this family is configured by different forces, by strategic Oxóssis, unpredictable Yansas, and the most beautiful Oxuns. The other works as a mirror of the self, on which one recognizes different Orishas' qualities and accepts one's own quality and personality traits instead of repressing them. For each Orisha and person have a place of their own in the world. German member Amilcar de Xangô expressed, "It was the first time in my life that I didn't attract anyone's attentions, that I was not remarkable. That's a great feeling I never had before. I was always the black one. For the first time in Germany, a German could find a place to be himself." When we reestablish the contact to the body and to the world, we also find ourselves, for if I perceive the world with my own body, the body is my natural self and the subject of my perception. As German member Isa said, through Candomblé, one gets to feel closer to oneself. While the perception of the world and of one's own body gradually expands in this process, one learns to sense the power of the Orishas in the environment as well as within oneself. As Verger put it, Candomblé is a religion exalting the personality, where one can be truly him or herself and not as the society would like one to be. For those who have something to express through the unconscious, the trance allows it to manifest itself. The power of the Orisha is inside all of us, and in Candomblé it may manifest itself in trance states. Our body is no longer controlled by our consciousness, but by the Orishas who come to earth to celebrate with humans. This is Oshun on earth. To decide whether to believe that spirits exist and possess human bodies, or whether to consider it simply as an altered state of mind, is secondary, if ever relevant. The category, the representation, the form or interpretative framework one chooses for referring to this experience does not change its transcendental power, the power of transforming people's lives. To talk about spirituality and transcendence is a challenge, especially within modern discourses pervaded by what Latour calls the belief in pure and exact knowledge. I have unsuccessfully researched for scientific evidence for the strong, vivid, crucial experiences of Candomblé members in order to convince audiences about their realness or rationality. Although love cannot be explained nor proved, no one takes it for unreal, for it is real for everyone. The difference between love and spirituality is that the first, love, is not stigmatized as primitive, anomalous, or irrational, only as a cliché. Hubert Fichte was very skeptical and yet fascinated by Candomblé, just as I was. I doubted that the experience could exist. At the same time, I feared very deeply that they could exist, which means that very deeply I believed in the possibility that they could exist. Sharing experiences and stories with Candomblé practitioners who seemed very reasonable and rational would gradually put my own skepticism in doubt. They would tell me they used to experience nothing extraordinary, just like me, until they stop being too rational and fearing the loss of self-control. As the Fono João de Xangô put it, I think there's a rationalization block. It was very liberating to me when I learned to stop having fear. People seek rules, they seek certitude. People seek security, reasoning. What do they seek? A plus B, you know, like a recipe. I have liberated myself the moment I learned that it doesn't work like this. There will be no recipe. There's like today's like this, and after half an hour it's something else. There's intuition, there's situatedness. You deal with things that are not rational. Rationality is by definition reasoning, and as such is present in most beliefs in spirits. Thus it's not a matter of being a rational or irrational person, an emotional or intuitive person. The rationalization block arises not so much in geographic context, but in a Cartesian society. Cartesian doubt is skepticism. It is critical judgment as methodology. However, the act of doubting itself establishes the possibility of certitude. Skepticism implies the illusion of certitude, security, and control. But Candomblé has no dogma. There is nothing certain, fixed, nor predetermined in Candomblé by humans. Instead, spirits constantly determine the destiny, negotiating its terms with humans through the oracle and diverse kinds of rituals. When reasoning with skeptical doubt, we objectify, choose, classify, and hence we judge experiences, people and things as separate from us, disengaging from them. But to recognize the embodiedness of our being in the world is to discover a common ground where self and other are one. I have not only realized but experienced the truth of this statement the moment that the rational control over my body was suspended during a ritual. I transcended my material boundaries, feeling that others' energy and mine were simply the same. At that moment, I didn't lose my consciousness. I rather gained the awareness that my existence reaches much beyond what I can consciously experience and rationally explain. The only thing I lost, that I got rid of, was the illusion that I can control it. When we open ourselves towards other ways of knowing, of perceiving and conveying the world, we face reality the way it is and not the way we believe it to be, and we transcend it. Therein lies true freedom and power. We don't lose ourselves, we love ourselves, we conquer ourselves as mingle within an infinite world. To conclude, representations express, that is, they press outwards, facets of an essence. The power of Candomblé does not lie in its diverse and complex, amazing representations, but rather in the manifestation of its essence, which allows and fosters an infinitude of forms and ways of life, empowering members as well as sympathizers. This very essence is the secret, it is the sacred of Candomblé, which time reveals to hide in a transcendental place, not distant from ourselves, in our own body as part of the world we inhabit. Thank you for your resonance.